Earlier this year, one of my friends that does wedding photography full-time asked me to be a second photographer for one of his weddings. This was quite a while back, and definitely wanted to let that all settle. But in this video, we're going to go over all of that, how it is being a second photographer at a wedding. I've never done any type of wedding photography where I didn't know who the people were. I have taken some photos at previous weddings, but in this case, totally new experience with that and actually getting some money out of it, which was nice. We of course got to the wedding very early. We were setting up and he talked a little bit about what gear he uses and how he goes about things.
So this is my lighting gear.
Okay.
That hard box is a lighting bag, so I'm going to move that to the pavilion, as well as tripod and umbrellas. And then I got my little loadout bag, which I always keep 3 lenses in.
Okay.
And we got 3D printed lens caps, because
Nice.
Never know when you might lose a lens cap, so I just print them all. And since we're doing getting ready right now, I'm going to bring my macro lens.
Okay.
For rings and detail shots.
Mm-hmm.
And that never gets taken out ever again throughout the rest of the day.
So you said you have constant lights?
Yep.
Oh man. How do those work? Okay. The 300s?
Yep, 300s, jumbo batteries. I can go about 5 weddings without charging.
Oh wow.
So, because I only use them for maybe 2 hours constant.
Okay.
Maybe at a wedding. But they can go about 8 hours on a full charge.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 3 lights in case one breaks. And tiny stands. And flash triggers in case I want to go with flashes.
Of course, with any type of wedding photography, you want to have backups. With backups, in my case, I had the 2 M50 cameras and an M100. I had the 22mm f2, 32mm f1.4, and then 135mm EF lens f2.8 soft focus. Turns out it didn't work too well. I will show you some of the photos throughout the wedding that I took. First off, let's take photos of whatever you can. That's what he was telling me at the time. All the little adornment to the tables, anything like that. After that, we went to take photos of the men and women's sides where they were getting ready. He took photos of the women. Of course, he was comfortable with that. He's done it a lot. So I took photos of the guys together. That was a very interesting experience, just being in there for quite a while, watching them get ready and taking photos. And it did get very emotional to be in that situation where you don't know the people, but you do get to know them a little bit here and there as you're being with them in a very emotional time. Once the 2 sides were ready, we took photos of each group and also all of them together before any of the main event started. In that situation, I was really able to see how Chris does his thing with the people, how he arranges them, what he tells them to do, and helps them feel more relaxed. And we took photos of the area where the entrance ceremony would be, and then eventually we took photos of the ceremony itself. We went and took photos of groups of family members, friends, basically a bunch of little groups together. Some of the big things to take photos of is when the bride dances with her father. There were some things that I did not photograph personally. He was there for quite a bit longer than I was. The equipment that I was using is especially difficult in these situations because you really need quick autofocus. Things are happening very fast. Changing out lenses, even just spending that time doing that is difficult. He has a special way of doing things. He has a messenger bag and 4 lenses or so, and the main camera a backup. And he does not use the back rear caps on the lenses, so they're ready to go in his messenger bag. So I think those Sonys that he uses are a very good option for the wedding photography because it takes away some of the technical aspect that you don't need to care about in these situations when you're just trying to get a properly focused on the eye type of situation. But in my case, I had to do selectable points. Basically, I was micromanaging more than I would have liked to do with the M50, but the 32mm lens did a great job with autofocus. I think some of the best photos that I took were with that lens. The 22 did all right as well. Some of those are decent, and as I mentioned, with the other lens, not so good. But maybe he was able to fix up some of those photos. Now, he did tell me afterwards that he used a significant amount of the photos that I took, which is good, and definitely glad that it worked out well enough. Some of the things that I did to make sure I did a good job for him was with batteries, memory cards. I did change out the batteries in my cameras 3 times with the M50s, so I wasn't hitting the bottom end of the battery life because sometimes if you really push the batteries too much, you're going to suffer with autofocus and things like that. It just wasn't worth it. I definitely had enough batteries with the OEM ones and the Wasabi ones that I had. Of course, with Wasabi batteries in this specific situation, they don't give you as much power, but it worked out okay with batteries. With memory cards, my idea is that I want to limit the risk. If one card fails, I will not lose all of the photos of a large group or set. So changing them 3 times per camera, so we have 6 cards at the end, is a good idea. Chris was telling me with his cards, he does them by season. So he buys new cards every season. That's a good idea. And then he has the backup in the camera as well. I think the most important thing with the wedding photography is having a good dynamic with all of the people, being sociable in a work setting, and just being able to get what you need for the photos to turn out well. So in this situation, Chris was definitely doing a good job of handling the people, moving them around. He knows which photos to take. I'm sure all of that comes with a lot of experience and a lot of time doing this sort of thing. The most interesting thing for me is being in that situation with a wedding where you don't know the people. It's a weird dynamic. It's a very unusual feeling to be in their lives for a full day. It's hard to explain, but if you ever do it in a situation where you don't know the people, I think you'll get that feeling. Scott Photography Banzai. I hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, please consider subscribing. That helps me out a lot. Likes and shares help out a lot as well. Thanks again.